All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Spinning Backfist MMA show. It is Robbie, Big Ev, and one of our favorite recurring guests, Johnny Eblen. You got a fight coming up. It's the huge Bellator champions versus PFL champions card. I want to go back a little bit before we get into that card, though, because the Bellator PFL merger, if you want to call it that, was rumored for so long. We felt like it's going to happen. Is it not going to happen? It finally happened, and you were put in a weird spot because PFL, with no middleweight division, was like, what's going to happen with Johnny Eblen? Can you walk us through what that was like for you?
It was really interesting. A lot of unknown landscape was about to, be unfolded. And I wasn't sure what the next step was, but I knew, since I'm one of the top talents that they would be acquiring, I knew that they were going to, make it a point to make sure I'd be on cards this year. And if they, at first it was like I wasn't sure if it was even happening. It was a rumor that was kind of BS, and then it eventually became like something that was legitimate. Through the grapevine, I heard through some like people like Mike Kogan and other people at Bellator, saying it's like a legitimate thing. And then that's when I started thinking, I'm like, all right, well, this kind of sucks because they don't have a middleweight division, but I'm also the champion, and I'm also highly regarded. So I wasn't too worried about what was next necessarily because I kind of knew that they weren't going to just let me sit and they weren't going to just not fight me. Just that doesn't make any sense. So I was more just worried about what they were going to do after they acquired Bellator. So when it became like set in stone, like, oh, this is pretty much happening, I'm like, okay, well, all the people that I work with at Bellator, who all is coming, what fighters are they going to keep? How are they going to be able to balance the PFL tournament? And I mean, they have like a challenger series. They also have like a European series. And now they just created, the Bellator champion series. It's like, how are they going to balance all this? Where are all the cards going to be? So on and so forth. There's a lot of questions. I mean, they answered a lot of them, and I'm just happy to be a part of one of the first cards that they're going to put on, with Bellator athletes. So that's a good sign. And then on top of that, they're supposed to have 8 cards this year for Bellator. So I'll be able to defend my belt, at least once, hopefully twice, maybe, because I want to fight and I want to be active during my time with them, because I'm 32. I'm not going to get any younger. But also I don't want to rush it too much. We'll just see. I'm kind of taking it day by day. But I think they're doing a good job so far.
I was gonna say, obviously, with the merger, you don't have to get like dollars and cents. But how did that work, like contract wise? Like you just like keep the same contract? Do they have to like rewrite stuff? Like how does that go?
Nope, they acquired my contract. It's the same. Yeah, they got to pay me what I'm worth. That's my championship pay, regardless of what's going on, how they want to put it. I have show money, and that's it. I have championship show money, and that's what I'm worth, and that's what you got to pay me for me to show up and fight. 3 rounds or 5 rounds, doesn't matter.
That's right.
I like that.
Now, did you have any input on the opponent, or did they just put him in front of you and you were like, yeah, I'm down to fight whoever?
I kind of didn't have much input. I did kind of foresee them doing this, though, because I had a hunch that Nemkov was going up a weight class. And that's exactly what happened. There's no 205 champion technically in Bellator because Nemkov vacated the belt. He's going up a weight class. And then Impa's really a 85er. And I was like, I wanted Brunson, Jeffrey, or Impa. Those are the 3 names I was calling out. And all 3 of them could have happened. We were trying to do Brunson at first, but I don't think he wanted to fight. And then the next name that popped up, because I wanted to fight as soon as possible, was Impa. So I was like, all right, let's do it. Jeffrey would have been a good option, but he's a Bellator guy, so I can't fight on this card against him. It would have to be for a title defense or something like that.
Do you want them in the future still, or are those still 2 names that you're interested in?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would love to fight Jeffrey. Fucking, oh, dude, I'd whoop his ass so bad, man. Oh, I just want that fight too, because he's been like, there'll be some posts like where they're trying to kind of promote it in a way, or like they'll be promoting like who's next for me, and I see people like spamming the comments, and it's like Jeffrey and all this shit, and like they're kind of like, I don't know, they're all kind of like, chirping. And I'm just like, man, I just want to shut them all up. But yeah, him or Brunson would be great on another PFL Bellator collab.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be an awesome fight because he's a guy that's fought the best of the best, and he's been around. He's a veteran, and it's a great name to add to the win column.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
How much of Impa's fights have you watched? He's kind of like reinvented himself, went up, but had some impressive performances. Was pretty dominant. How impressed you've been by him, or how much even have you watched him at all?
I didn't watch him much. The first time, honestly, that I've seen him fight is that fucking viral knockout, obviously. Mm-hmm. And then I didn't really watch much of the PFL tournament. Only my teammates. Like I watched Josh Silveira. He fought in the same weight class as him. The only time I really watched him fight was when he fought my teammate in the finals. And I mean, he looked good. Josh was off that night though, and he started picking it back up in the fourth and fifth, and he started, really letting his hands go because at that point, he was like, he had nothing to lose. But I definitely don't think that was Josh's best performance. But me and my coaches watched some tape on him. He does some good things. He's a durable guy, good boxing, pretty good cardio, athletic. But I just think I'm better in all facets.
And I know you're not going to hop into the season they're not like putting all Bellator fighters into the PFL season. That's not how it works. Does that interest you at all for the future or no?
The thing is the way they would have to compensate me. They probably won't want to do it, and plus that's a lot of fights in 1 year. I'm not trying to, unless they want to pay me fucking good, bro, then I'll do it. But it's not worth the trade-off of like degrading my body, for a whole season at 205. I mean, I wouldn't be cutting that much weight, but that's a lot of training. That's a lot of fights.
Oh yeah.
You raise the risk of injury, all that shit. I'm trying to preserve myself. I want to fight for a long time, or at least I want to keep my prime as long as possible. I think some guys,
for sure,
they get to their prime and then they fucking, they throttle through it. And the next thing you know, they're out of their prime. But I think if you do all the right things and you take care of yourself and you train properly and you prepare properly, you can definitely lengthen that time where your quote unquote prime is.
How long? Being you said earlier, you're 32. How long do you think that like window is for you?
I mean, some guys peak later. I'm definitely a late starter when it came to MMA, so I don't think I'm in my prime yet. There's a lot of things that I'm still working on that I need to get better at. I'm not getting worse athletically. My cardio's pretty much the same, if not getting better. I'm still learning and getting better, and like my reaction times are still there. I'm not getting any slower, so who knows? I really don't know until I've experienced it and it's kind of all said and done. But I don't see me being at my, maybe I'm at the start of my prime. I would say that, but I want it. I'm trying to get this to last for maybe like 3 or 4 years, and then I want to kind of retire, like in my prime, in a sense, and get out with
like you're thinking like in 3 or 4 years.
4, 5 would be pushing it.
Okay, interesting.
Wow.
So 37. I mean, I'd be 37.
Yeah.
Yeah.
32 right now. If I can keep my prime for a few years, 3, 4 years, fight, best guys, prove I'm one of the best, if not the best, and then, maybe take a couple money fights and then see what's up. And then after that, I mean, I want to get out. I don't want to fight till the wheels fall off. It's not. It sounds cool when you say that, but it's like, really, do you want to do that, bro? Do you want to, fight for glory at the end of it and then just degrade the shit out of your health and then you're just not the same the rest of your life? I don't want to do that personally.
Yeah, we see fighters struggle with retirement all the time too, like coming out of retirement 6 months after they retire and stuff. Doesn't sound like you're going to be one of those guys. Sounds like you're very ready in what your game plan is.
Yeah, I mean, it might change while I'm there, but I think I know it's best for me, and I'll find ways to deal with it. I'm sure it would be tough because I'm a very competitive person. I
Do you
try to
think you'll
live a
always
normal
train?
life. Yeah, I'll always train. I will always train. Um, that's like for sure. Rest of my life, I will
Mhm.
always train. But it's a matter of like the competition part of it, and the sparring part of it. I think I'll find ways to get through that type of stuff. Get through the competitiveness. Maybe I'll get competitive in real estate, or I'll focus that energy towards something else that's going to help me generate money. That's not going to be through my anatomy. Because
Yeah.
I want to preserve myself at the end of the day. I don't want to fucking fight till the wheels fall off. Sometimes I think about it, I'm like, you know what, fuck it. But then also I'm like, nah, dude, I only get this one body the rest of my life. I should probably take care of it.
You see yourself ever getting into coaching? Maybe is that something you think you'd be interested in at all? Obviously,
Possibly.
way down the road.
Possibly. Fighters are tough to coach, though, bro.
Yeah.
I could do it maybe. I feel like the right circumstances would just have to come up, and I feel like I'm personable and I'm decently intelligent, and I feel like I have a good fight IQ, and I'm pretty well rounded. So I feel like I could be a good coach. It's just a matter of finding the right person, and finding the right team. Because that's
Yeah.
also another thing you have to realize. Like, yeah, just you can be a great coach, but then you also have to like be good at managing time and a team of people to where we're giving this athlete the highest probability of winning each fight, or getting better every time you guys work together. So there's a lot that goes into it, and whenever that time comes, I'll think about it.
And being an American Top Team guy, obviously being around some of the best talent in the world in that gym, do you feel like the gym is going through like a wave of, I don't know if you call it morale right now, but so many fighters have big fights coming up. Do you feel that when you're in there with other fighters that also have big matchups?
Yeah, I feel like that's just like that's always happening. It's almost
Is it
normal.
constant there? Yeah.
It's constant, pretty much. There's always some big fight coming up. Whether it's me, Pantoja, Dustin, freaking Kayla Harrison, you name it, man. There's Maheta, he's about to fight Yoel. There's a lot of big fights going on.
Yeah.
Our heavyweight, like the PFL heavyweight. I forget his name, but he's a giant ass man. He's fucking awesome.
Renan.
Yeah.
What was it again?
Renan.
Renan. Yeah.
La Problema
I know
is-
so many Brazilians. I know their face, but I forget names, bro. But yeah, dude, there's just so many fighters, and there's always big matchups, popping up. I mean, we got Gamrot in the gym right now. It's just like it's constant, dude. And there's always like a team morale. We're all trying to work together. Freaking Marvin Vittori has a big fight. Like,
Yeah.
dude, it's constant. You get what I'm saying? Like, and then after we go through this cycle, there'll be another set of big fights that are coming up, and I think that's what keeps me going back to the gym, because I'm always going back to help people and help people for camps, and then like vice versa. Whenever I have a camp, people help me out.
Yeah. What's Vittori like? What's him like hanging with him? Because I've seen him at power slap events, and he just seems like a hell of a time.
Yeah, dude, he's cool. He's a bro. He's cool.
He seems like a
And,
bro. That's a good way to put it. Yeah, he's at power slap and a Guinea T coming out with the Nelk boys. Yeah, he's a bro.
Yeah, he's a cool guy, man. Not gonna lie. Easygoing, likes to train hard. He trains a lot. Like when he first came, he was training a lot, and it impressed me, man. Like a lot of people don't want to train super hard, but he's down to train. He knows how to work too. He can give you hard rounds. He can work with you. There's a reason why he's been at the top of the middleweight division for so long, bro. Like I get it. He has the work ethic and the mindset to be one of the best, and I feel like we're kind of like-minded. So we kind of gravitate towards each other, and we train a lot, and we get good training sessions in.
I would say I have to ask right now, it's just very topical. Another training partner of yours, Strickland, obviously, Sean Strickland. What'd you I think I might have saw you on what you said on Twitter, Instagram, but I guess for the viewers, what did you think of the fight and just the decision, everything that went with it?
I thought Sean won 1, 2, and 5, but I could see how other people thought DDP won 2, 3, and 4. So I feel like if Sean would have fought more aggressively in the second, it would have been clearer. So that's the thing. I felt Sean could have done more. And it's just his style, though. He'll like hit you, not get hit, and be backing up. So optically, it will look bad. But realistically, if you really know what you're seeing, you're like, well, DDP didn't hit him, and Sean just hit him. And then like DDP might get a takedown, but does nothing with it. It's like, I don't know. It could have went either way. It was a close fight. I just thought Sean did more damage. Sean landed the better shots, and he won round 1, 2, and 5. Like DDP definitely won 3 and 4, like hands down. I thought. I mean, 2 and 3 were pretty close, but I thought he did enough to get 3 and 4. But Sean could have done more. You can always do more. It was a close fight. It was pretty entertaining though too.
Yeah, I thought it was a great fight. Very close.
Yeah.
I feel like he kind of had a similar. I feel like the Cannonier fight kind of with him, similar type thing happened. What you described, where like kind of was landed a lot, but kind of going backwards. That fight was super close too.
And even with Cannonier was like actually hitting Sean's chest a lot. So you would hear sound, but it'd be Sean's chest, and like the damage isn't really there in a sense. And yeah, man, sometimes like just being aggressive in a fight optically looks better. So you'll get like, if it's a close round, you'll get the judge's scorecard because you're more aggressive. And I mean, that makes sense. You're pushing the pace, you're pushing the action, you're trying to cause damage, whether you create it or not, and it's a close round. Optically, if I'm a judge, I'm like, okay, well, that guy looked like he was, really pushing the pace going forward a lot, octagon control. So it makes sense. I'm not like super upset about it or anything. I train with Sean. I like Sean. I thought he did enough to win. I might be biased, but it is what it is, man. It's a fight game.
And speaking of your fight,
forward, Johnny Pressure.
What's that?
Yeah.
That will always move forward, Johnny Pressure.
Yeah, try to. But I also try to be slick and move backward and then apply pressure when necessary, Sometimes I get too ahead of myself. I'm like, fuck, I want to knock this motherfucker out, or I want to beat the shit out of this guy, and I just press. It's like, no, bro, you got to cat and mouse a little bit, you got to be the mouse sometimes.
That was definitely you, the Fabian Edwards fight, at least the end of it.
Well, at the beginning, I was being more of the mouse because I was trying to see I was going to draw out in him and see what I could, what techniques I could land on him early, being athletic, moving on the outside, kicked a lot. And then I got cut, and I was like, I was pressing a little bit, and then I got cut, I think, out of the clinch in the second. And I was like, bro, right after I got cut, I remember I started walking forward. I was like, well, he got a good shot on me, bro. I got to fucking get him back. And then I remember I landed like I think I landed something good at the end. And then the third, I was like, I'm going to turn it up. Like, I gotta do something. I wasn't sure if they're going to stop the fight, but I was like, man, this cut's bad, I think. I got to pick it up. And I wasn't sure if I was going to knock his ass out or take him down and like smother him and cut him up and submit him. But I was like, this third round, I'm going to go hard, and ended up knocking his ass out.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you, because even though you were winning the fight, you still had the bad cut. Like, where your corner guys telling you, like, hey, like, this might be, like, you might need to go do it here just because of that cut.
They were just like, there was a lot of urgency in the corner, and that's not typical of my fights. Like, usually it's like, hey, man, you're doing great, blah, blah, blah. Or, hey, hey, try to hit this combo, or hey, try to hit this angle and counter more. They gave me little cues. But when I sat down in the corner of this one, I was like, man, they seem like I need to pick it up. Like they're telling me there's urgency right now, and like I know I have a big cut on my forehead, but I just don't know how bad it is. But it's like it was odd, if you get me. It was like not normal. So I was like, well, fuck, I got to pick it up, man. I got to go hard. Like it's time. Like I got to turn it up. Like it doesn't matter. I don't have time. You know, that's kind of what I felt like. So then that's why I turned it up in that third round.
You should just run the knockout. Just run the knockout play more often. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird, dude. Sometimes when you knock a motherfucker out, like sometimes I hit people hard and it's like they don't get knocked out. I'm like, but I just hit that motherfucker so hard. But like some of my two of my big knockouts, one where I do like the switch step and like I throw right hand, left hook, right hand, and I knocked Daniel Madrid out. I could barely feel it. Like I barely hit his chin. Yeah. And even with Fabian, I didn't feel like his like face like crumble into my fist. It was like I think I just hit him when he was like slightly off balance, right on the button. You know, it didn't feel like a hard hit, but he just fell, and I was like, damn. But then when I landed the elbows on him on the ground, those were hard. Those what put him out, bro. And I was like, oh, fucking love ground and pound.
How do you feel about fighting in Saudi Arabia coming up? Like fighting halfway across the world? Are you cool with that? It makes no difference for you. What's it like?
I'd rather fight in the U.S., or in Europe. But honestly, I don't know because I've never fought in the Middle East, so I can't say I don't like it. I can't say I've never experienced it. I've only cornered there, but it was during Fight Island and COVID, and that kind of sucked. You couldn't really do much. So those are just my biases speaking. Yeah. I'm sure after the event and everything, I'll probably enjoy it all, man. Like I've heard only great things about Saudi Arabia and like the AUE and like that area. Heard it's pretty nice, and it's like I've never heard bad stories. So it will be interesting though. I'm flying a bit further. I'll be fighting, I'm pretty sure, late at night. But I'm flying early to get like adjusted, so it'll be different. It'll definitely be a different experience.
How do you see the matchup going?
What's that?
How do you see the actual matchup going?
What, with me and Impa?
Yeah.
I'm gonna whoop his ass, man. He can get his ass beat.
But
he's tough, man. He's tough. He's not gonna like. It's not gonna be easy, you know. I'm gonna have to go out, fight smart, fight hard and aggressively, and just whenever I see a small opening, I gotta make sure I pick it up and do the right things at the right time, because he's not like an easy guy to fight, but he's not super tough either in a sense. Like he's pretty one-dimensional. That he's tough, can box well, pretty good cardio. It's not like he's a high-level grappler too, high-level kickboxer. More boxing than anything, And he's durable. But yeah, man, just another puzzle to solve.
You Penny, obviously you getting this one done. Do you have any aspirations to move up at all? Go for the double champ status?
Possibly. If the opportunity presents itself and it makes sense and they pay me well, why not? Heard Corey Anderson's fighting what's that guy's name?
Carl Moore.
Yeah, Carl Moore. I thought that was interesting that they were setting them two up to fight for a championship. I thought it'd be like Yoel or something.
Yeah.
But Yoel's about to fight, and I think they're trying to book something right after, in March, so that makes sense.
I think they could definitely, especially if Corey Anderson wins. I mean, you versus him would be a huge fight.
Oh, sure. Dude, that'd be huge. That'd be huge. Yeah, man, possibly. Maybe defend my belt first. I think defend my belt first, and then we'll see. We'll see. The money has to be right. The timing has to be right. Got to talk with my coaches and see what they think. But I'd be down. I'd be down to scrap, especially Corey Anderson. I mean, he's a vet, highly regarded name. Another good, person to add to the win column.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to the fight coming up on February 24th. Of course, you can get it on ESPN Plus and DAZN pay-per-view. Johnny will be in your corner as always. Thanks for joining the show.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you.